Hey now everybody, this is Professor Island, and today we are talking about the grading policy for the honors courses. All of the honors courses my honors courses are held on campus, and therefore I don't use Blackboard. All the information that you need that is online, outside of the databases provided by the Citrus College Library, are on inglet.org, and so if you find inglet.org, you'll find the lava lamp there, and scroll down, and find your honors class, which will be listed under the honors literature course selection here. And I'll just choose the film is lit as an example, but basically they're all set up the same. Over here on the left-hand side are the materials for your syllabus, and this is what you get handed in class on your first day, and it has the description, the course calendar, and the grading policy, which we'll be talking about. And then these other elements here are things that you'll use for research, including a general resource list of various types of things, specific links to literary terms, and the specific critical perspectives we'll be using in class, some paper format and an organization tools here, and then an archive of materials that would give you an idea as to what something looks like when you turn it in. So let's talk about the grading policy and assessment. Essentially, this class is, and you'll see all this stuff up here, but basically this class is written assignments that you do for me with one exception. You basically have two papers, and when I say a paper, I mean something that you take time to create, and you write a literary analysis of either horror literature or feminist literature or children's literature, depending on the course. And this demonstrates your understanding of critical perspectives, your understanding of research method, of quoting both primary and secondary sources directly, creating a works cited page, and turning that in. When I use the word test, I'm talking about basically a timed essay, a shorter essay in class, in which I'll give you a choice of 3 items, and you choose one of them, and then you do your research in advance and come into class with a blue book and your primary source and your secondary sources printed out, and then you write a 5-paragraph essay for me. If you scroll halfway down the grading area, you'll see actually a little grid here that shows that you only have indeed 4 items. And that paper and the exam and the final paper, all of these require that you will be demonstrating not only critical perspectives, but also the aspect of good college level research. It's not just a matter of finding some random stuff on the internet, but also utilizing valid resources such as obviously EBSCOhost and Gale Literature Resource Center, but also other resources such as films on demand, historical documents. Certainly if you're in a class that involves music, a lyrical resource such as Rolling Stone and other resources in which people have legally and officially published something concerning literary analysis or their perceptions of the world. Certainly if you are looking for a cultural response from a particular religion, I expect you to go to that religion's website and utilize their information. This is the kind of stuff we're looking for. I do not want you using general kind of Wikipedia resources. Don't use Shmoop. It's not a real university. Don't use eNotes and these other things that are designed either to help grade school children understand the basic elements of what something means, or are designed, frankly, to like we used to have. We used to have Monarch Notes and Cliff Notes, and basically it was this little yellow book that you'd buy so you did not have to read War and Peace. They would explain each one of the chapters so you could sit in class and pretend like you knew what you were talking about. Because you're directly quoting from your resources, you have to read the real stuff, and we are also demonstrating what's going to be expected of you as you get higher and higher up in your educational endeavors, and somebody asks you to write some kind of research paper that might result in a master's degree or a PhD, etc. The other element that makes this class actually unique from other classes is the presentation. What will happen at the end of the semester during the last 2 weeks of regular class, we are done talking about stuff in class, and we're done having conversations in class and all that stuff. And each one of you will choose a unique topic to present, and it's a particular work, and obviously in the film class it's going to be a movie, and in the children's literature class it's going to be a children's work, and in the horror literature class it'll be a work of horror. and that could be a film or a story or a zine or something like that. And you will provide at least one critical analysis of that work, as well as providing in about 8 minutes or so max, and this is a live presentation in front of the class, in about 8 minutes or so, you're going to provide us a maximum of 90 seconds of video or audio, a maximum of 90 seconds of an entire plot synopsis of the work that you're analyzing, and then at least one critical perspective. The purpose of this is for you to get used to two things. One, defending the presentation that you're making by making sure that you've done your research, because at the end of it, I am going to then ask you questions based on what you presented at that moment in class. The second thing it helps you with is making presentations in front of people. Especially if you're in an honors program, you are likely going to be offered the opportunity, or even forced, depending on the type of coursework you're doing, to make presentations in front of important people. And the ability to get used to talking in front of an audience is a skill, and it's something that you get used to the more that you do it, and this will certainly be one of those opportunities for you. The paper is worth 20%, the test is worth 25%, the presentation is worth 20%, and the final paper is worth 35%. These make up your grade for this class. The class mostly is about you being present, having read or seen or gotten a hold of the material that we're going to be discussing in class, and being part of that discussion. One of the other things that's part of my honors courses, by the way, is when you get over to the calendar, is that each person in the class is going to choose one item from the calendar to present in class as, leading the conversation. This is not graded per se, but it is part of your practicing this material, and it gives you an opportunity to get feedback on how well you're understanding the material itself, as well as the literary terms that we're analyzing. So anyway, that's the grading policy and assessment, and maybe a few other things you may not have wanted to know. If you need to contact me, get a hold of me at englitguideearthlink.net, and I can answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you in class, and until then, stay in touch.